What's up, you all? And as requested, Mr. Michael Jackson, the King, versus Freddie Mercury, the Queen. Acapella studio vocals. Let's get right on into it. This better be epic. These are the best. Okay.
Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love
heady
of
mix.
my life, can't you see?
Beautiful vibrato.
Bring it back. Don't take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me.
Beautiful vibrato there, great clarity there, and just very light vibrato. It's quick, but it's light. It actually kind of reminds me of Michael's. His is quick and light too, but excellent. Come on.
Looking out across the nighttime, the city winks a sleepless eye.
Love that breathiness.
I'd always shake my window, sweet seducing sighs.
Love how he pronounces that, approaches that note.
Into the nighttime, for walls won't hold me tonight. If this town is just an apple, then let me take a bite. If
Love
they
that.
say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why does it do it that way? If they say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why does it do it that way?
His the biggest difference I noticed is delivery. Michael's, the way he even pronounces things, like just an apple, how he breaks it up, just breaks the word apple up, or and I mean, things like that. His delivery is just so special. It's so, in my opinion, I'd say it's more emotive. It draws you in more. His was more breathy. Everything, all of his words were just more breathy. Their approaches were different. Whereas Freddie Mercury's was more clear, just crystal clear. I would say more. He had a little bit more volume, even though his was he was singing softer too. He had a little bit more volume to his, and his diction was just crystal clear and more traditionally, you could say, more traditionally correct, or technically, correct in their approach, more classical, I'd say. Ooh, now that's some aggressive vibrato right there. Come on, back in stacks. Love the harmonies.
So you think you can stone me and spin my eye? So you think you can love me and leave me to die?
Come on, Rage.
Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out. Just gotta get right out of here.
Vibrato is so dangerous.
Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me.
Boy, that vibrato there, that was a lot. That was a lot for me. That's totally subjective, but that's a lot. But the man has range and he has power, that's for sure. And his vocals are raw as a mug. I would say that. Oh, this about to do it. Come on. That high mix. Say. He is so bad.
space on the carpet. And then you ran into the bedroom. You were stuck there going and shut your name.
Hey, Mike.
I'll take it.
Look, he burned that one down. I'm have to give Mike that when he burned it down. Everything from the high head voice, crystal clear high head voice, to the high mix, to the run he did in those runs he did in the high mix, and just the distortion and the just the savagery in his vocals, the rawness in his. I know I said Freddie had a lot of rawness in his, but Michael brought even more of that rawness, that just gutter, just, you know what I mean, just savagery in his vocal. And to the song, I couldn't help but to play the imaginary instruments in my head because the song is just that hot. Like, it still hits hard, Michael's music, and so does Freddie's. To both of them.
My vows and my curtain calls. You brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all. But it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise.
Love is
I
like Brian
consider it
O'Dare.
a challenge before the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose. And I need to go on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting.
Hey, man.
We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers.
I got goosebumps.
We are the champions.
Come on.
We are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end.
He got a voice like a rocker, man.
We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers. We are the champions.
Epicness. Doggone, I got to clap for that epicness. Those, when the choir of Freddie's came in, that stack, that harmony, well, that was heaven right there. That was like a religious experience. I mean, just epic. I love how they both have these, they take the song to a whole nother level with these blends and these stacking vocals, man. They add so much depth and power to these arrangements. And and Freddie was singing. He's got a very, like, is he classically trained? Because he's giving me like this rock star vibe when he's hitting these higher belts, the power there, and just the freedom up there in his higher belts. And it's got a slight distortion on there, but for the most part it's clear, very slight distortion, and it's just very rocker. It puts me in the mind of that genre. Just such a savage and powerful and just a beast up there.
Become my life. I have a wife and 2 children.
Come on.
I am a victim of police brutality. No.
Hey.
I'm tired of being the victim of hate. They're ripping me of my pride, for God's sake. I think they're coming to fulfill this prophecy. Set me free.
You want to talk about distortion and power?
Speculation, everybody, allegation in the suit, on the news, everybody, dog food, black men, throw them from the engine. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Some things in life they just don't wanna see.
Goosebumps.
But if Martin Luther was living,
Goosebumps.
King born in black, he no love.
Come on.
Everybody going situation, segregation, everybody allegation, innocent, on the news, everybody dog food.
Hey.
They don't really care about us. We're deep in fire. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. I'm dead
Come on,
to
quiet.
remind you. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us. Let that watch the beat. All I wanna say is that they
He is so bad.
all I wanna say is that
ended it there too with it when it just sort of echoed out. It just smoothly went out, faded out. I love that. Just again, just epicness. At this point, I don't really want to compare because these songs are so epic, and it's the same like for the both of them. This distortion, this rawness, these just monstrous vocals are just so there's so emotion, full of feeling, and the delivery here, Michael Jackson, I think is when it comes to delivery, man. I don't know if anybody can quite can quite touch it, in my humble opinion. I mean, he makes you want to just jump up out of your seat when you hear these vocals and just start just going crazy. He's got that effect. It's just he's just so raw, and the distortion is crazy. It's just so raw and just aggressive, and it just is in the head voices and just everything. And the choir in the background is killing. Uh, What can you say? Somebody to love. Find me somebody. Find me somebody to love. Find me somebody to love. That vibrato is so wild. Find me somebody. My goodness. Can anybody find me somebody to? Come on, him, sustain. Love. I love the descending run and how savage it was at the top. It got smoother as he went down. Say somebody to love. Find me. Ooh, somebody to love. Sister. Find me somebody to love. Anybody, anywhere, anybody find me somebody to love. Love, oh, oh, oh. Find me. People. Now that was a straight up vocal right there. Just a stamina and the power of his high notes and I'm loving how he's, first of all, he's sort of winding up. He did a lot of winding up his notes, sustaining and winding up. I love that. I love the clarity of his head voice when he sustained his head voice a couple times. I loved that. His vibrato, again, I keep saying it, but it keeps being true. It's so wild. Like he'll sustain a note without vibrato, then he turns it on, and this is just like it's so wiggly towards the very end of these notes. It's almost like it's about to wiggle out of control at the end of these sustained notes. But nonetheless, I mean, his range is just ridiculous. The clarity of his head voice is ridiculous, and again, that slight distortion that's always sort of present in his voice, except for the head voice, the chest. It's very pleasing too. And I mean, just the power, the range. I love that descending run too. Y'all know I love a good run. I love the descending run. It was slower, but it was still good. And how it was so much distortion on the top one. And as he went down, I noticed the distortion lessened. I love that. The skill there, I love it.
Told me, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts. But she came and stood right by me, cause I smell a sweet perfume.
Same.
Yes, happened much too soon. She called me to her room. Hey, the Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. No.
Hey.
Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I'm the one. But the kid is not my son. No, no. She says
I love that.
one, but the kid is not my son. No. The Billie Jean is, the Billie Jean is, the Billie Jean is not my lover. The Billie Jean is not my lover. Don't call me Billie Jean. Billie Jean.
Come on.
Not my lover. It's time of us to sing. Billie Jean is.
Is that it? Okay, just gonna sit there and let us sit in quiet just for a little minute. Well, I definitely would say that the last one, I preferred Freddie's last one over that very last one. That's not Michael's, one of his more complicated vocals, but Freddie's last one was absolute. He went all out with it. Again, so for the most part, from here, in my opinion, it comes down to Michael's just the more stylistic type vocalist. His just everything he does, it seems like it's for an emotional effect. It's for, you know what I mean. Freddie to me is more of, like I said, more of a traditional, sort of like a class at times, like a classically trained singer. Very crystal clear, and even when he is distorting or even when he is, it sounds like he's screaming. It sounds controlled, and and he can reel it in, like he did that descending run, and how the distortion lessened as he went down, and just his volume control and everything like that. He seems like a more traditionally, classically trained singer, and Michael is just straight up, I'd say, soul, funk, just completely different styles, completely different ways that they go about their singing. They're totally different people. And Michael has a lot of that, just that breathiness and that naturally fast yet smooth vibrato, and even the breath he takes in the middle of you know, all that stuff. And when he is just going hard, going ham, with the raspiness and the distortion, it is monstrous. It ain't nothing like that either. So I mean, and his head voice, and even his higher mix, and you know, his runs, he does more of those, and so just totally different. But both of them, I have a whole new respect and admiration for the work that goes in the backing harmonies. Did y'all hear the harmonies, the blends of these people's music? The choirs, they had stacking themselves, they sound like choirs, and it's just, it elevates the whole performance to the next level, and the goosebumps just explode. They just explode. I can't control them. And both of them are just very dynamic singers, and their songs. I know more Michael Jackson music than Freddie's, but once it got to, I actually knew at first for these, I'm like, do I know what is this song Freddie singing? And then he gets to a certain part, I'm like, oh yeah, I know this. I don't know as much as Michael Jackson, but I know, I recognize it as it gets to certain parts, and that's usually, you know what I mean, not the case for me. But yes, just two legends, but just completely different type styles. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Please continue to report your favorite